What is up people, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing the AR-61 Tenderiser in Helldivers 2, so let's get into it. To purchase this weapon you're going to go into the Polar Patriots Warbond, where you will find it on the bottom of page 1 and it's going to cost you 20 medals. Taking a look at the stats for this weapon, we've got 60 damage, a capacity of 35, a recoil of 10 and a fire rate of 600, and for weapon traits it's light armor penetrating. In terms of what this weapon comes with, it has 10 magazines, each one coming with 35 rounds. It also has a flashlight / laser option, a fully automatic, semi-automatic and burst fire mode, and a 25 meter, 50 meter and 100 meter scope. So with all of that out of the way, let's get into the review. I'm going to discuss pros, cons and then give a final review. My first pro is going to be the recoil. There's virtually none. It's the Tenderiser's biggest pro in my opinion. It's very easy to kill enemies from longer distances, and it also helps you with conserving your ammo, as you'll hit a lot more of your shots, and trust me, you'll need to conserve your ammo with this weapon. Because the Tenderiser was part of the new Warbond, I wanted to pair it with the Winter Warrior armor set, as they were on the same page, but I would be interested to see how it handles with an armor that has either engineering kit or fortified as its armor passive, because both of these reduce recoil by 30% when crouching or prone, and that could make this gun an absolute laser. Next up, I've got weapon options. I already know this is going to make some people mad saying I'm scraping the barrel. I hear you, I'm not going to yap too much, don't worry. I just like when the options are there, and the Tenderiser has a flashlight / laser, 3 firing modes, which I will admit are a little bit redundant due to the fact that the gun has such low recoil to begin with, so there's not much of a reason to go out full auto, and 3 levels of zoom for the scope. Sticking to pros then that are nothing major whatsoever, but I will say that I'm a fan of the ergonomics of this weapon. It does feel good aiming, firing, reloading, it's all quite crisp and me likey. And already, lastly, it's got 10 mags, that's it. 10 mags, that was a bottom of the barrel one. Let's get into the cons. Right, let's talk about them. Firstly, this thing burns through ammo. Hitting shots, not hitting shots, not shooting at all, it does not matter. After one engagement on Helldive difficulty, you're easily able to go down to 2 mags from 10, and speaking of magazines, you've got 35 rounds in each one, which is not crazy in the realm of assault rifles in Helldivers 2, but there's nothing that counters that lowish number. No armor pen, explosive trait, concussive trait, nothing. Next up is damage. Again, it's just the same problem as I previously mentioned. The Tenderiser is doing 60 damage, which to be fair is hanging with the damage of some weapons in its category, but its only weapon trait is light armor pen, which isn't actually a real weapon trait as it comes standard on nearly every gun in the game. And so what's the if factor of this weapon? The secret sauce, if you will. There isn't really one, and unfortunately low recoil on its own is not going to drag it over any type of line. And this is a bit of a weird one, so I'm not sure if it's just me that thinks this, or is it a valid con or complaint at all. So please let me know down below in the comment section what you think, but I'm going to say bullet spread. You see, earlier in the video I was saying that the low recoil is the biggest pro, and don't get me wrong, it is, but something I noticed as I continue to use the Tenderiser in full auto mode more and more is that the bullet spread is very much alive and well. Maybe if this gun had more going for it I wouldn't have noticed, but even before I used this weapon I got the impression that the low recoil was one of the if factors. And what I'm trying to say is that is there much point in having such low recoil if when you use the gun in full auto it still has a pretty regular bullet spread? I don't know. For me it needs to be a lot tighter, because if not, then every gun in this game can have its recoil be equally as low if only used in semi or burst fire modes. And now I want to get into the statistics of this weapon once again, because this is a big talking point already and not for a good reason. Let me show you why. So here I've got all the assault rifles, and I'm not going to compare it to the Adjudicator or the Liberator Penetrator because they have medium armor pen, and I'm not going to compare it to the Liberator Concussive because it has a staggering effect. So let's go with the bog standard Liberator that has the same weapon trait. With the stats side by side, you can see they have an identical damage of 60. The next stat is capacity, and the Liberator has an extra 15 rounds per mag, so it wins. And you'd think, oh, the Tenderiser must make up for that with its 10 mags, but not really. Its 10 mags with 35 bullets add up to 350, and the Liberator has 7 mags with 45 bullets adding up to 315, meaning there is a whopping difference of 35 bullets between the two guns. Recoil then, the Tenderiser slightly edges ahead with 5 less, and then the Liberator wins the fire rate battle with an extra 40. In conclusion, and my god I hate to be negative but this is hard, the AR-61 Tenderiser handles lovely and has low recoil, and that's it. For all other intents and purposes it is the standard Liberator that you get at the start of the game, with a lower fire rate and marginally less recoil and a whopping 1 extra magazine. Now I do believe that this gun is not going to stay like this for long, and here's why. If you look at the weapon description, it says a high caliber assault rifle with a restrictive magazine size but more stopping power. Well, clearly the more stopping power bit hasn't been fulfilled. Two things could have happened that I can think of. One, the stats for this weapon were decided before the buff of the Liberator's damage and they forgot to adjust accordingly. Or two, they forgot to add medium armor pen. Either way, it needs to be rectified. I'd like to either see a damage increase of 10 to 20 or medium armor pen. But like I said, I'm sure it will happen because this weapon is not performing how it was portrayed to at all. The thing's tan and green instead of black and grey, for God's sake. But anyway, I'm going to leave you with the rest of this Tenderiser footage. If you did enjoy the video, please subscribe, comment down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.
Reinforcing!
Warning, you are leaving the mission area.
You man!
Helldiver, you are moving outside the mission area.
You have accomplished the liberty. Extracted your discretion.
Warning, you are leaving the mission area.
Bag's empty.
This is Pelican 1. I have visual on the extraction zone. Pelican 1 landing sequence initiated. Watch where you're standing.
Liberty! You man!
Pelican 1 preparing to depart. Shuttle launch in 20 seconds.
Calling in reinforcements! Injury? What injury?
On countdown, extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning